Alright, in this video we're going to talk about how to find the midpoint between 2 points on a coordinate grid. So the example says to find the midpoint of the line segment with the endpoints 4, 1 and 2, negative 5. So our midpoint formula is finding the average between our 2 points. So what we do is we take our x1, x sub 1 plus our x sub 2, and we divide it by 2. And then we take our y sub 1 and our y sub 2, add them together, and we divide by 2. So looking at our 2 points here, our x values are 4 and 2. So we add those up together and divide by 2. And our y values are 1 and negative 5. So we do 1 plus negative 5, or 1 minus 5, and we divide by 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 1 plus negative 5 is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Let's try some. So again, we have to find our midpoint is halfway between our two x's and our y's. So our x's are 5 and 1, and our y's are 0 and 4. So to find the midpoint, we add together our x's, 5 plus 1 divided by 2, and our other point is 0 plus 4. We add our y's and divide by 2. So 5 plus 1 is 6 divided by 2, and 0 plus 4 is 4 divided by 2. We can clean that up a little bit. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's our answer. Again, finding the midpoint between negative 9, 3 and 7, negative 8, we take our x's and then our y's. So we're finding the midpoint between our x's, negative 9 plus 7, divide by 2, and our y's, 3 plus negative 8, divide by 2. So negative 9 plus 7, that's negative 2, divided by 2. 3 plus negative 8 is negative 5, divided by 2. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1, and negative 5 divided by 2 is negative 2.5. That's our midpoint there. We need to find the midpoint between negative 2, 9 and negative 7, 7. So we circle our x's, negative 2 and negative 7. Our y's are 9 and 7. So we do negative 2 plus negative 7 divided by 2, and 9 plus 7 divided by 2. Negative 2 plus negative 7 is negative 9 divided by 2, and 9 plus 7 is 16 divided by 2. Let's clean this up a little bit. Negative 9 divided by 2 is negative 4.5, and 16 divided by 2 is 8. Example number 4. Find the midpoint between 5, 10 and negative 3, 6. So our x's are 5 and negative 3. Our y's are 10 and 6. Again, I add my x's, 5 plus negative 3 divided by 2. And I add my y's, 10 plus 6 divided by 2. 5 plus negative 3 is 2 divided by 2. 10 plus 6 is 16 divided by 2. Cleaning that up a little bit, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. And our midpoint is 1, 8. Example number 5, finding the midpoint between negative 1, 6, or negative 1, negative 6, and 3, 0. Negative 1 and 3 are my x's. Negative 6 and 0 are my y's. So again, I add my x's and divide by 2. Add my y's and divide by 2. Negative 1 plus 3 divide by 2. And negative 6 plus 0 divide by 2. So negative 1 plus 3 is 2 divided by 2. Negative 6 plus 0 is negative 6 divided by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Example number 6. Find the midpoint between 8, 1 and negative 2, negative 5. So our x values are 8 and negative 2, and our y values are 1 and negative 5. Again, we add our x's, 8 plus negative 2, and divide by 2. Add our y's, 1 plus negative 5, and divide by 2. 8 plus negative 2 is 6, divided by 2. 1 plus negative 5 is negative 4, divided by 2. And let's clean that up a little bit. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So our midpoint is 3, negative 2. Finding the midpoint between negative 6, negative 10, and negative 2, negative 8. Again, I find my x's, and then I find my y's. Careful with the negatives here. I have to add my x's, negative 6 plus negative 2, and then divide by 2. And I add my y's, negative 10 plus negative 8, divide by 2. So negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8, divide by 2. And negative 10 plus negative 8 is negative 18, divide by 2. Cleaning this up, negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. Negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. And my midpoint is negative 4, negative 9. Finding the midpoint between 4, negative 1 and negative 5, 9. I look for my x values, which are 4 and negative 5. My y values are negative 1 and 9. Again, I take my x values, 4 plus negative 5, add them together, divided by 2. Add together my y's and divide by 2, negative 1 plus 9, divided by 2. If I add the numerator, 4 plus negative 5, that's negative 1 divided by 2. And negative 1 plus 9 is 8 divided by 2. So if I clean that up a little bit, negative 1 divided by 2 is negative 0.5. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So my midpoint is negative 1/2 or negative 0.5, comma 4. And finding the midpoint between 2, 3 and 4, negative 7. Again, I'm looking for my x's, which are 2 and 4. My y's, which are 3 and negative 7. I'm going to add my x's and divide by 2. 2 plus 4 divided by 2. Add my y's and divide by 2. 3 plus negative 7 divided by 2. 2 plus 4 is 6 divided by 2. 3 plus negative 7 is negative 4 divided by 2. And cleaning that up, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. My midpoint is 3, negative 2. And our last example, find the midpoint between negative 9, negative 4, and negative 3, 6. Again, we look for our x's, which are negative 9 and negative 3. We look for our y's, which are negative 4 and 6. We're going to add together our x's, which are negative 9 plus negative 3, and divide by 2. Oops. There's 2 points there. Negative 9 plus negative 3 divided by 2. And then we add our y's and divide by 2. Negative 4 plus 6 divided by 2. Let's clean that up a little bit. We got negative 9 plus negative 3, that's negative 12 divided by 2. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2 divided by 2. And simplifying these fractions, we have negative 6, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So our midpoint between these 2 points is negative 6, 1.